welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we have special guest Emily Kyle. She is a certified cannabis practitioner, and she's going to teach us all about using CBD for health benefits, and she's also going to share a really great recipe to help us get started. So thanks
How's
for
it
being
going,
here.
Emily?
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be in the kitchen with you guys.
Well, I'm curious, first of all, how you got into CBD and became a cannabis practitioner. How did that journey start?
Yeah, so I started my career as a registered dietitian nutritionist, and so very into health and holistic health. But behind the scenes, I had always used cannabis myself to manage my anxiety and depression. And just kind of with our cultural shift in the world, people are very interested in cannabis, very interested in learning how it can benefit them. It really just was the perfect storm of the right time, right place to further my education in the cannabis plant, and then kind of mix it in with the nutrition and kind of have a more holistic perspective.
I love that. I know personally I've been getting tons of questions about CBD recently, and obviously it's not my area of expertise, so I'm excited to learn from you.
Oh, definitely. So for the kind of novice, Emily, what's the difference between, I guess, CBD, THC? There's so many names. I'm kind of
so many. So when it comes down, we know CBD and THC most, but really there are only two of over 110 different cannabinoids. So over time you'll start hearing about CBN or CBG and CBC. So these are just what we know about more, but when we look at the cannabis plant as a whole, we have over 500 compounds playing a role in the synergy of cannabis. So there's a lot to learn and there's a lot to dissect.
Yeah, so interesting. Well, I think right now, the two big things that I'm hearing from people are, one, physical inflammation in the body, whether it's recovering from workouts or, they have headaches or back pain or whatever it might be. And two, especially right now, with everything that's going on in the world, so much just anxiety and stress, and it's impacting a lot of people's sleep as well. So I would love to hear some of your tips, and also how do you decide what to use, how much to use? Like, most people are, I would say, novices to this, right? So where do they even start?
So it's such a whole new area for a lot of us, and what we all need to remember is that each one of our own bodies has its own endocannabinoid system. So just like we all have very unique immune systems, right? We all need something different. We all react different. Cannabis is the exact same way. And so I like to tell people CBD is kind of like the first non-alcoholic beer. It's something, an easy place to start with, but when we get into the world of cannabis, it's very diverse. But CBD is a great first place to start, particularly because it does not induce any intoxicating effects. And so what we know is that CBD interacts with our endocannabinoid system to reduce inflammation in the body and help with pain associated with inflammation, but also because we have CB1 and CB2 receptors on our brains and in our central nervous system, it helps us with anxiety as well. So it can help with a variety of different things, but I like to tell people going into it, kind of have an idea of something you want to target specifically so you can see if it's actually working for you. CBD is a very quiet helper. It's not like it just jumps out at you one day and you're like, wow, I'm all better. So it's really important to know, what are you trying to target and how are you going to get there?
Okay, that's good tip. So
You said your partner uses it, correct?
Yep, my husband uses CBD. I use all forms of cannabis. My husband has never been a cannabis user, never interested in cannabis. And so CBD really, again, is that safe place to start because, again, you're not going to feel high, but you do feel the benefits, that relaxation, better sleep, and less inflammation.
Is that kind of the reasons why he, I guess, started using it as well? Did he have any specific things that he wanted to kind of help him Was it sleep and stuff like that, or?
Sleep more than anything. He chronic for his whole life has been up late at night and difficult to wake up early in the morning. And I'm the opposite. I'm up early in the morning, ready to go. So obviously our lifestyles clashed a little bit. And I said, you need to sleep, like try this. And he was very hesitant, but he was very surprised how much it made a difference for him. And when we talk about the endocannabinoid system and nourishing the endocannabinoid system, adding CBD, it's just like nourishing our bodies with a vitamin or a supplement. We're providing our bodies with something that can be then systemically used to treat a wide variety of ailments.
What was the reasons why he was kind of against it at the start? Was that because he was kind of uneducated? Was he taught different things?
Such a great question, and that's really kind of where we're at here with cannabis is very taboo still. It's very new to people, and for most people, it's still not legal. And so for a lot of people, they've just been conditioned to associate cannabis as a drug rather than a healing medicinal plant. And so subconsciously, whether or not we really feel against cannabis or not, we always hold these biases because for so long, we were told it was harmful, and now all of a sudden we're being told it's helpful. So it's always going to be met with a little bit of skepticism there.
It's kind of similar to the situation we're in, isn't it? With obviously bringing out the plant-based cookbook, a lot of the questions we get all the time is, where do you get your protein from? Like, how do you stay fit? How do you get your muscle mass? And it's because, you've been programmed, like you said, over 50 odd years that this is what you need to do. You need steak, chicken, meat, all that type of thing. So that stigma is still attached. So I completely understand that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, in the health and wellness field in general, there's so much misinformation. There's an overwhelming amount of information out there. And if you Google a topic, it's more likely to overwhelm you than to really educate you and inform you. So that's why we love to have people like you on to help us kind of clear through all the clutter. And I love that you have your own product. So I know one of the questions that I get all the time is, well, how do I choose a safe cannabis product, a safe CBD oil to get started with? So I know you have one, so maybe tell us a little bit about how, you ensure that you're bringing a clean, safe product to your customers.
I'm so glad you asked that, because that was really the number one question I kept getting from clients. Ultimately, why I ended up getting my own product is, how do you choose a safe product in an unregulated marketplace and in a brand new marketplace where the education is lacking, so it's difficult to make an informed decision. So I have my 4-step REAL method for choosing a safe CBD product. It's the acronym REAL, R-E-A-L. R stands for raw materials. So where is the hemp that's producing your CBD coming from? And we like to see USA grown hemp. We have so many amazing programs here in the United States that allow farmers to grow hemp. And we like supporting local farmers. But what we know is that hemp is a bioaccumulator as a plant. And so it will suck up any toxins that are in the soil. So we want to ensure that our hemp is being grown safely with programs that have quality standards to ensure that the hemp isn't being grown where it could potentially pick up things like heavy metals, lead, and mercury. And of course, again, going back to local and sustainable, supporting your local farmers. So that's R. And then we have E, which is extraction method. So how is then the CBD removed from the hemp plant and get into that bottle? And so there's a wide variety of extraction methods. The gold standard right now in the industry is called supercritical CO2 extraction. So they manipulate temperature and pressure to remove the cannabinoids from the plant material. And so we like this because it doesn't have any byproduct. The other most common form is an ethanol or alcohol extraction, but we do see byproduct of alcohol there. So we like the supercritical CO2 for E. Then we have A, additive ingredients. It's just the dietitian in me. I don't want to see any fake sugars or added ingredients or fake colorings. It should just be CBD and then a carrier oil. So MCT coconut oil, hemp seed oil. really any of our healthy fats that we can use as a carrier oil. And then last but not least is lab testing. So number one, most important, any product that you're looking for should have a certificate of analysis or what we call a third-party lab test to verify what is in the bottle is truly there. And without that, there is no guarantees that anything is correct on the label or in the bottle. So also making sure that those third-party lab reports actually link back to an actual real lab. I've unfortunately had companies try and scam that way as well and show lab reports that are from labs that don't exist. So being an educated consumer is your number one goal. You just want to be as educated as possible and do your own research. And then once you feel comfortable with a company who's out there providing you with all of those check marks, then you can get a little bit more comfortable and try their product line, but really making sure you have a really educated decision to keep yourself safe.
I love that. That's so helpful. So let's take this little bottle. So now we have this great bottle. Thank you for sending it to us to give it a try. And what are some of the ways we can use this? Like, I know you can use topically. I know sublingual, right? Like under the tongue. And you can use it in food. So
absolutely.
How do you decide?
How do you decide? That's a fabulous question. So what we really look at is A, personal preference. So everybody's going to be different. We want to take into people's preferences. But B, we like to look at bioavailability and how much of that CBD will actually be absorbed into our body. And so we're kind of getting the most bang for our buck, so to say. So that sublingual, we always see people putting CBD under their tongue. That's because the bioavailability is quite high. We see about a 30% bioavailability, which is right up there with inhalation. It's quite high. We'll never see anything higher than that. So we like that, and we like that it goes directly into the bloodstream rather quickly because our mucous membranes are pretty thin. And so we get an effect about 15 to 30 minutes in that higher bioavailability rate, which is what makes it an ideal application method for folks. Now this, because it goes in the bloodstream, is systemic. It will impact all areas of the body. Topical administration, where you're putting it directly on your skin, has the same high bioavailability, about 30%, but it doesn't go into the bloodstream. So it only provides relief directly where it's applied. So my folks with rheumatoid arthritis, putting it on their hands, it's helpful, but combining both the sublingual and the topical is actually ideal for them so they get the systemic and the localized relief.
But if you get a headache, you might want to put some under your tongue, but then rub it on your temples or the back of your neck, across your forehead. Okay.
Exactly. Kind of combine both methods to get the best optimal relief for exactly what you're looking for too. It's a little different. If you're just looking to manage anxiety, you probably don't need to put it anywhere topically. But if you're looking to manage or to sleep better and manage perhaps arthritis inflammation, doing both would be perfect.
Okay.
And then last but not least, we have our ingestibles, which is our digestion. And so that's a lower bioavailability. I always like to tell people it's about a 6% bioavailability. However, that doesn't mean people still really like this administration route, and we still see that systemic effect. So with edibles, CBD edibles and eating, you might need a little bit of a higher dose to get the same effect. And it takes a little bit longer of an onset time because it's going through the digestive system. So we see about an hour to 3 hours to see any noticeable effect. So I tell folks, if you're looking to maybe stay asleep, perhaps a CBD gummy before bed would be good because it could help you stay asleep hours later, but you might need a sublingual tincture to help you fall asleep. So we're kind of combining our bioavailabilities with our onset and duration times and personal preferences to get the ideal circumstance for each person.
So with CBD, since it's not THC and you're not getting a high, can you take too much?
Great question. So the studies that I have seen, we have seen safe intake of up to 1,500 milligrams at a time. So the bottle you have from me is a 500 milligram bottle. So that would be like taking 3 of those bottles all at once. You certainly could if you wanted to, and it wouldn't taste very good and it probably wouldn't make you feel very good. But we know that at high doses, CBD is safe. You can't really overdo it. It'd be really expensive if you did.
So with your husband, Emily, how long, when you agreed to think, oh, I'll try this method, how long did you see his kind of sleep improve?
I think it took a good week to notice if anything was making a difference. And that's what I really recommend to my clients, is to give it a good solid 3 weeks to notice. As we gradually start to warm up our endocannabinoid system and reintroduce it to CBD, it takes a little bit of time for the body to readapt. So being patient and not expecting that taking it just one time will produce any kind of really big effect.
So should we try some and then make a recipe?
Yeah.
Want some under your tongue?
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, exciting. So it really, it tastes like hemp. A lot of people are like, wow, it really tastes like hemp. That's part of the supercritical CO2 extraction process, is that it really preserves the flavor. And when we get into those very special compounds cannabis has, I don't know if you've heard the word terpenes before, but terpenes play a really big role in the smell of cannabis. And we believe that the terpenes in and of themselves contain potential health benefits. So there's a lot of study we can do there to really learn more about cannabis.
How much would you recommend then, just for under the tongue?
Oh, a half a dropper, I tell people, is a great place to start. If you're a little conservative, a quarter of a dropper is totally fine.
So knowing Nick, he would do a full dropper.
It's perfect. And so you just kind of, you want to hold it as long as possible, just to give yourself that absorption, but it doesn't have to be directly under the tongue. Anywhere in the mouth is fine.
It is nice to taste, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I tell people hemp is kind of like an acquired taste. If you've not been exposed to it, it can be a little harsh at first. It's kind of like your first glass of wine. When you're a teenager, you don't like it, but over time, you kind of develop a taste for it and learn to like it.
I love essential oils and incense.
Oh, good.
It feels like it's just in that earthy family. So
essential oils and aromatherapy and cannabis terpenes are so intertwined. I can't wait to see more of the information that comes out, and hopefully I want to see more of like the essential oil community kind of absorb cannabis as well.
Yeah, we've got the diffuser going right over here, just off camera. You can't see it. Let's make some cannabis infused vinegar.
Perfect. So this is going to be a strawberry vinaigrette, and it's easy because you can use it really on anything. So fresh salads, you could use it as a dipping sauce, wherever. And it's perfect because it's springtime now and it's strawberry season.
Yeah, we're going day camping after this, and we're going to make chickpea chicken salad, and we're going to use this recipe in our chickpea chicken salad.
I'm so excited.
Out to the river.
So what do you recommend, Emily? Just mash up the strawberries, make them into a puree?
Yep, if you have a masher, or even easier if you have like a tiny food process. Oh, look at you. You got your masher right there. Authentic.
So I'll let you talk us through the recipe. How many strawberries and make the puree, that step.
Perfect. So for strawberries, we're going to be starting with about, well, I said 3 tablespoons of strawberry puree. So really maybe like a cup of strawberries, mash it down, see how much you got. You can leave it as chunky as you desire. So again, it depends on your personal preference. If you like it super thin, I would run it through a food processor. If you like it a little more authentic, the masher you've got is perfect.
Yeah, we have no fancy kitchen gadgets. We like to talk about this all the time. We wrote an entire race cookbook with like nearly 100 recipes.
Dollar store.
With dollar store, Target, kitchen.
Oh my gosh, that's so smart. That's awesome.
We are going to invest in really high quality knives though in the very near future, because that's one thing that would be
the one thing that, yeah, it's hard to do.
About $25.
They don't even cut. Like you
no.
go into the
and then it's a safety hazard. You don't want to cut yourself.
Exactly.
All right, these are pretty good, nicely mashed. And then we've
perfect.
got the avocado oil and the balsamic style vinegar.
Perfect. Have you used white balsamic vinegar before?
Not this one. That's why I was in the store. There's so many different varieties. I had to call Kaylee and say, "Is this the right one?" She was like, "Yeah, I think so."
Awesome. I love white balsamic vinegar. It's almost like a lightened up version of our traditional balsamic vinegar. Just a light, really fresh, summery taste.
Oh my gosh, these strawberries smell so good.
Yay! Good, good, good.
Okay, so we've got 3 tablespoons of our strawberry puree. Now what?
Beautiful. Then we have 3 tablespoons of white balsamic vinegar.
Right here.
Job. If I can open it.
You have to peel did you already peel the black thing off?
Yeah, I've already opened it.
No. Well.
Do it again. Let's see, how much avocado oil, Emily, whilst I get this open? 'Cause I'm
So
struggling.
for avocado oil, we're gonna go 3/4 of a cup. I like avocado oil because it's really light. It has a very mild flavor, especially compared to olive oil and a vinaigrette. It's just a lot more palatable, I think. I've also made this recipe with hemp seed oil, which is different than CBD oil. It tastes good, but hemp seed oil is very green, so it makes the final product look a little different.
Good tip. I love avocado oil personally as well.
I do too. For raw vinaigrettes or eating it raw, it's probably my favorite oil just because it's so fresh. Oh, it's so pretty. Looks so good.
How long will this keep, Emily, in terms of from the CBD?
Yeah, so the CBD will last. So it'll be just the same as any other vinaigrette you keep in your refrigerator. I'd say up to 7 days.
Okay, perfect. Still struggling with the bottle. Go for
Right,
it.
my turn. Okay.
We will get it open.
And so then when we look at like CBD dosing, right? So you as the consumer can control how much CBD you want to put into this vinaigrette. And so it depends how much CBD you want per serving. So you really could pour the entire bottle right on into the vinaigrette. And that would mean your entire recipe would have 500 milligrams of CBD. Or you could put in less. It really depends, and everybody's personal preference is so different. Depends on what you want your final product to have in it.
Okay. So on your recipe page, how much did you use?
So I ended up using 1 milliliter, which would be 1 full dropper full.
Okay.
But that would give you about 16 milligrams of CBD in the entire thing. So depending on how much you wanted, you could absolutely use more.
Okay, I'm gonna triple it.
Perfect.
Okay.
Right, I used my teeth off camera and it's off. Completely bent the lid, but that's all right.
I'm so glad you got it.
You guys just.
Sorry, how many, Emily, tablespoons?
You're gonna go 3 tablespoons.
Straight to the dentist after this. Honestly.
Don't worry, the CBD will make it feel better.
Oh, it smells really
And then black pepper to taste, or
Black pepper to taste, just a little bit, just to give a little bit of savoriness there.
Is that good for you? Mm-hmm. All right, and then we just shake it up, right?
Shake, 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 absolutely. So if you have an immersion blender, you can run it, but just shaking. When you're shaking like this, you're going to want to continue to shake each time you use it because it will separate the oils. But otherwise, shake, 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 and you're ready to go.
That, guys.
That's it.
Infused strawberry vinaigrette dressing, and we're gonna put it on a chickpea chicken salad.
Awesome.
Photos.
I have to taste it.
Emily, Nick's gonna taste it. How can people continue to learn more if they're interested in incorporating this into their healthy lifestyle?
Yeah, so my website, emilykylenutrition.com, I strive to focus on providing evidence-based cannabis education, but also real-life recipes that you can use every day in your kitchen to just kind of expose yourself to CBD and get kind of comfortable with the world of culinary cannabis.
This is absolutely delicious.
So nice.
I'm so glad. Good.
So fresh. You can't taste the CBD.
I was just going to ask, not too overwhelming, right?
No, and I tripled
Yes.
what you have on the recipe on your website, and I still can't taste it. I just taste the vinegar and the oil and strawberry.
Really good.
Perfect.
Really
Perfect. I don't want it overwhelming at all. Just really kind of melt right in with the recipe.
Well, we are so grateful for you sharing your expertise.
Yeah, thank you
I
so
learned
much,
a
Emily.
lot. That was a lot.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to do a CBD recipe with you guys. This is so fun to cook in the kitchen.
Thank you. We hope you have a great rest of your week. I was about to say weekend because I don't know what day it is anymore. But again, thank you, Emily, and I'm sure we'll chat again soon.